Hello, Jane Gill here. I've just bought out a new range of Fuzzie Friends stamps, and today I'm going to show you a simple card made with one of them. This is the JGS 802 and it's Pablo the Pig. It can be male or female, and I'm going to show you how to do a purple one today, keeping it nice and simple. Everything you need is on the stamp set. So this is the finished card. And as you can see, she has a nice little bit of a wobble going on here. And we've created that by a new die I have designed. And there's the die, and we have 3 different sizes. It die cuts a spiral shape so that you can create that springy look. And when they're cut out, they look a little bit like this. There's the large one, the medium one, and the small one. So we've got 3 different sizes for 3 different size shapes. So for the pig, I'm going to use that large one. And what I do is I stick the thicker end to the base card, and I put a foam pad on the middle of it, and that is stuck to the object you want to stick down. So in this case, I put a foam pad in the middle to stick to the back of the pig. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but you might be able to see it in there. So let's get making a card. So you'll need a few things. This is a 148mm square card I'm going to do, and I've cut this piece of card slightly smaller than that. I have already stamped in a purple ink and embossed the butterfly, and I've stamped in black the greeting from the stamp set already. So those are embossed with clear powder, and they will act as a resist for the ink. I'm using Colour Cloud blending ink in Frosted Heather and Colour Cloud blending ink in Chic Aubergine today. So what we're going to do now is we're going to colour our background and our pig. I have stamped the pig and with black and clear embossed him, and I've cut him out. So I'm leaving a little outline all the way around the pig so that it makes it easy and very easy to cut out. I've also cut out a little bow tie ready, and I've also die cut a large spiral. So let's get all those coloured in. First of all, I'm going to start off with the Frosted Heather Colour Cloud. It is an ink in a pot with a big sponge in it, which has absorbed all the ink, and you're going to press down on the sponge to release the ink onto your applicator. I'm using a Creative Expression Smoothie to apply the ink. This is a really pale lilac colour. Perfect for this. It will dry slightly lighter than that. Now I'm going to switch to the Chic Aubergine. Just want a little bit on my applicator, and I'm just going to go around the sides and just colour in that ear so it's slightly darker. Go around the edges, a little bit more on his feet. Don't add too much to your applicator because you want a very soft look to this. You can always take ink off the applicator by just rubbing it onto a piece of paper. So I just want a darker edge, and we'll have a little bit of a darker tummy, and smudge that ink round there. Blend it in very carefully. Don't press down on the applicator, then you won't get too much ink in one go. So it's a nice gentle application. And whilst we've got this ink out, I'm going to colour the spiral wibbly wobbly die, both sides, because then it's not so noticeable on the finished card. So that needs to dry as well. And then we're going to put the background onto our backing piece. So I'm going to create this background now. Again, don't put too much on here, and gentle pressure. Start in the middle where the pig's going to go and gently blend out towards the edges, keeping it nice and smooth. Don't press down too hard. This will dry slightly lighter, and most of the marks you get will probably just disappear, and they will blend into the paper. And we're also going to splatter this, so that will create another interesting background as well. So keep blending around the sides to go towards the edges. I don't go right up to the edges, I just want to leave a little bit of a white gap. But I'm not putting any more ink on. And you'll see I've got quite a lot of ink in the middle, but that doesn't matter because the pig's going to cover that and you won't see it. But I just want a nice light coverage. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. Again, don't worry about that because that will get covered with the pig. I'm going to take my fan brush, a little bit of water, and do a little bit of tapping on the brush to splatter that water all over that purple ink on the background. You can do as much or as little as you want. Take some kitchen towel, dab that off so you get that lovely textured background. Now that's got to dry before you can go on to the next stage and make up your card. But whilst that's drying, we can then do some stamping on Pablo the Pig. And I have a dark purple ink pad and a slightly pinkier ink pad. And I've taken the flowers from the stamp set and I'm going to stamp little flowers onto the pig. So there are the flowers on the stamp set, so I've taken those off, and I've also got the little dots as well, which I'm going to use to stamp at the bottom. So let's get stamping here. So I'm going to start with the purple, and I'm going to probably put him there, and then before you ink it up again, stamp it again so you get a paler shade. Let's switch to a different stamp, and wherever you want to put them. Let's try the different colour. This is a bit pinkier. And again, stamp again somewhere else so you get a different shade. We'll go back to the big one. And we'll have that in a bit of pink as well. And probably fill it in with lots of little ones. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's our pig ready. Before we finish that off, I'm going to show you how to brighten up his eyes and his nose. I have a little teeny weeny pot of bleach here, household bleach, but very thin, and an acrylic paintbrush, and apply that bleach onto the eye area where you want it to bleach out so that you'll get a whiter eye area. It won't bleach out the black because that's been embossed, so the ink underneath is protected. You don't need very much bleach on your brush because it's quite strong. And again, it's just a very thin household bleach. Put some on his nose so it takes away that colour. You can see how simple this is, and it slowly develops and turns completely white. Just be very careful where you put your brush. Just use the tip very carefully. Don't put too much on your brush. I'll have a little bit on their ears as well, a little bit of shading. Always give that a rinse into some water when you've finished. Put the lid back on the jar so it's safe, and we're going to leave that to one side to dry. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm going to prepare my spiral die. This one is already dry, and I'm going to put a foam pad in the middle, ready for the pig. And I have stamped and cut out, let's move that out the way. I have stamped and cut out the little bow tie, and in order to give that some colouring, I've used the very pale lilac colour cloud and edged it with the darker purple colour cloud, and just used an alcohol pen to put a little bit of a design on it. I've put in some little spots. You could even stamp it with some of the little flowers if you wanted to. There we go. So that element is ready. And so all I need to do now is stick the card together. First of all, whilst I'm still waiting for this to dry, I will take the top off that spiral die, pop it on the back of the little pig, and then that will be ready to go onto my base card. So I'm going to take some PVA glue, put the PVA glue on the thicker end of the spiral die, about a centimetre or so, like that. Decide where you're going to put it. Look at about there. Press it down. But at this stage, you want to make sure that you haven't stuck the rest of the die down. So just like that. So it does take a bit of time to dry, PVA. Just make sure you pull it up a little bit just to see if it's well stuck. Then you can push it down underneath and then leave it to dry. Just make sure that the rest of the die hasn't caught any glue and it's still free to move around a little bit. I think that'll be okay. And we're going to stick the bow on top of there, and I'm going to show you the finished card again. So here we are. It's got a nice little springy movement to it. It wobbles about a bit. It's got nice three-dimensional. The nice thing about the spiral die is that it will lie flat. It's good for posting. I've put the little bow on there with a foam pad, and I've added some of the little dots underneath the pig using the little dotty stamp that's on the stamp set. And all the Fuzzie Friends stamps come with accessories, a greeting, and they all have these little dots which act as they can act as grass, it can act as shading within the animal, all sorts of different things. You can make borders on your cards with. And I've just added some Cosmic Shimmer twinkles in Chic Aubergine to the centre of flowers just to give it a little bit of a sparkle. And so there we are. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.